Question 1. Change 25 meters to centimeters. Each 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So if we've got 25 meters, it's 25 times 100, which is 2,500 centimeters. Question 2. Write down two factors of 10. So the factors of 10 are the numbers that multiply to make 10. So we can have 1 and 10. 1 times 10 is 10, or 2 and 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So we can actually write down any two of these, 1, 2, 5, or 10. You can just say 2 and 5. So you could also say 1 and 2, or 1 and 5, or 2 and 10, any of those options. Work out 3.5 squared. So we're just going to type it into the calculator. 3.5 squared, press equals. We get 49 over 4, which is a perfectly good answer. Or we can press this SD button and write 12.25. Question 4. Shade 2/5 of this shape. So for every 5 boxes, we're going to shade 2 of them. So there's 5 in each row. So we just shade 2 in each row. So 2 out of 5 in the first row, 2 out of 5 in the second row, and 2 out of 5 in the third row. So as long as you've shaded 6 boxes, that is what we want. Question 5. Write a number in the box to make the calculation correct. So 93.4 divided by something is 0.00934. So we need to divide it by some power of 10. So if we start at 93.4, divide by 10 once is 9.34, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So we're dividing by 10 4 times. Divide by 10, divide by 10, divide by 10, divide by 10, or 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 is 10,000. So divide by 10,000 once. So dividing by 10,000 is the same as dividing by 10 4 times. So 93.4 divided by 10,000. So 93.4 divided by 10,000 is, well, it says 467 over 50,000, or 9.34 times 10 to the power of -3. So how can we check that's the same? Well, if we type in 0.00934, we should get the same answer. 467 over 5,000, or 9.34 times 10 to the power of -3. So we know we're right. Right, one pair of brackets, question 6, in this calculation so that the answer is correct. So it's a BIDMAS question. So we do the brackets first, then indices. So this is going to be brackets, indices, and then we do division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So at the moment, we're going to do the 2 squared first, which is 4. Then we're going to do the multiplication. So 3 5s are 15. So it's 15 minus 4 minus 3. And that will be 8. So it's wrong at the moment. How can we make it correct? Well, 15 take away 1 would be 14. So if we put a bracket around 2 squared minus 3, that will become a 1, because 2 squared is 4, take away 3 is 1. So that is where we want the bracket to go. Question 7. Here are 6 triangles shown on the centimeter grid. 2 of these triangles are congruent. Write down the letters of these 2 triangles. So congruent means they're identical, exactly the same triangle. So which 2 are exactly the same? So if we look at It's A and E. So it's got 3, a length of 3, and a length of 2 for a right angle triangle. D and B aren't the same because D's got a base of 3 and B's got a base of 4. C has only got a 2 by 2. And F is 2 by 4. So the only two that are 2 by 3 are A and D. So they are congruent. They are the same shape. Question 8. In a shop, each jar of coffee costs £3.70. Harold has £50 to spend on coffee. Work out the greatest number of jars of coffee Harold can buy. So we could just add up £3.70s. So £3.70 times 1 is £3.70, or 2 of them is £7.40, or 10 of them is £37, and keep going. Or even quicker, if we did 50 divided by £3.70, 50 divided by £3.70, we get 13.5. So we can buy 13.5 jars of coffee. We can't buy 13.5. We can just buy 13. So 13 lots of £3.70 is £48.10. And then we don't have enough to buy another one. So we can only buy 13. Question 9. Nora gets on a train at 7:49 in the morning. The train journey takes 2 hours and 45 minutes. Nora then walks for 18 minutes to get to a meeting. Does Nora get to the meeting before 11 a.m.? So let's work it out. So 7:49 in the morning. How many minutes to get to 8 o'clock? We need 11 minutes. So if we add on 11 minutes, we'll get to 8 a.m. Then 45 take away 11 is 34. So there's 2 hours, 34 left. So let's add on 2 hours, which will be 10 a.m. And then add on the 34 minutes, which is 10:34. So that's, she's off the train at 10:34. She walks for 18 minutes. So 10:34 plus 18 minutes. What's 34 plus 18? 52. So 10:52. So yes, she gets in at 10:52. So she gets there on time. We can also use the time button on the calculator here. So if we've got 7 hours, 49 minutes, and we want to add on 2 hours and 45 minutes, that's 10:34. And then add on 0 hours and 18 minutes, 10:52. So we can see we get in at 10:52, or she gets to the meeting at 10:52, so she is there before 11. Question 10. Here's a sequence of patterns made from sticks. In the space below, draw pattern number 4. So we're going to have 4 squares made of sticks. So it looks something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully your lines look a bit straighter. So that's pattern number 4. Complete the table. So it goes up by 3 every time. So we just need to add on 3 each time. Work out the number of sticks in pattern 10. So we can just keep adding 3. But we need to add on, well, 5 lots of 3. Because 10 is 5 more than 5. So 5 lots of 3 is 15. So add it on and we get to 31. There are 31. You could have just kept adding 3. So 4 plus 3 is 7 for number 2. 10 number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 31. Bradley asked a group of people to name their favorite color. He draws a pie chart for the results. 17 people said green was their favorite color. Work out how many people said blue. So we've got 85 degrees for 17 people. If we do 85 divided by 17, we get 5. So it's 5 degrees per person. 17 people, 5 degrees per person gets to 85. So something times 5 makes 130. 130 divided by 5 will be 26. So 26 people said blue was their favorite color. 5 degrees per person, 5 lots of 26 is 130. Exchange rates. Question 12. Change $350 into euros. So dollars to euros, we are timesing by 0.92. Each $1 is 92 cents. So 350 lots of 0.92 is 322. Change 200 euros into dollars. This time we're going the other way. The opposite of timesing by 0.92 is dividing by 0.92. 200 divided by 0.92 is 217.39. I'm doing 2 decimal places because it's money. Question 13. The drawing shows the positions of 3 towns A, B, and C on a map. The map has a scale of 1 centimeter equals 2.5 kilometers. What is the real distance between A and C? So we've got 8 centimeters. We have to times it by 2.5. So that is 20 kilometers. And we've got 15 centimeters. Times it by 2.5. That is 37.5 kilometers. So what is the total distance between A and C? 20 plus 35, which is 57.5 kilometers. Question 14. Cameron has some coins with a total value of 95 pence. She only has 2 pence coins and 5 pence coins. The ratio of the number of 2 pence coins to the number of 5 pence coins is 2 to 3. Work out how many 5 pence coins Cameron has. So we've got the ratio of the number of coins, but we've got the total value of the coins. So we want to change this ratio. So it's the ratio of the value of 2p's to 5p's. And we can do that by timesing the 2p's by 2 and the 5p's by 5. So for every 2 2p's, there are 3 5p's. Those 2 2p's will be worth 4p, which is 2 times 2. And those 3 5p's will be worth 15p, 3 times 5. So now we've got the ratio of the values. So there are 4 and 15, which is 19 parts in total. And we're going to split that 95p up evenly into those 19 parts. So 95 divided by 19, that's 5. So each one is worth 5. If we'd drawn boxes, we would have had 4 boxes and 15 boxes. And each one is worth 5. Each one is worth 5p. So we've got 20p in 2p's, and we've got 75p in 5p's. So these are 2p's, these are 5p's. So we've got 10 2p's, because it's 20p in 2p's. So 10 2p's and 75 divided by 5. 75 divided by 5 is 15. So we've got 15 5p's. So the question was, how many 5p's do we have? We have 15 of them. 15 5p's and 10 2p's make 95p. Question 15. The scale drawing shows the positions of two towns A and B. Find the bearing of A from B. So the bearing of A from B is this angle here. So it's a bearing. It's always measured clockwise from the north line. So we need to measure this angle here. And we can do that by measuring, quickly draw this on. So we've got our north line is here. We're measuring this angle. We measure the angle in here and take it away from 360. So what we'll do, we'll spin this around, line up 0 on the line. And we have 75 degrees there. We've got a 15-degree angle. I've turned it. So 75 degrees there. So the green one, the whole way around is 360. So 360, take away 75 is 285. So the bearing is 285 degrees. Question 16. We've got a frequency tree. 60 students study a language at school. Each student either studies French or German. 36 of the students are boys. Let's start with the 60. Let's put the 60 in first. 36 are boys. So 60 minus 36, which is 24, are girls. 2/3 of the boys study French. So 2/3 of 36. You can type that in the calculator. 2/3 of 36 is 24. And 40 students study French. So 40 take away 24 is 16. So they must be girls doing French. And then we just need to take away 36, take away 24 is 12. 24 take away 18. 24 take away 16 is 8. So there is our frequency tree. Question 17, part A, factorize. So factorize means put into brackets. What's common to both of these terms? They both have an A in them. So A can come outside. A times 3A makes 3A squared. Keep the plus in the middle. A times 4B makes 4AB. So that's our answer. Part B, solve. Let's start by expanding the bracket. Expanding means take out of brackets. So 3 times G is 3G. 3 times 9 is 27. Now we need to get G by itself. When we have a solve question, it means find out what that missing unknown is. So I'm going to get rid of a plus 27 by taking 27 away from both sides. And 21 take away 27 is -6. Then I'm going to get G by itself by dividing both sides by 3. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So G is negative 2. Question 18. Debbie buys 4 packs of oats. Each pack contains 750 grams of oats. The total cost of the 4 packs is £9.20. Work out the cost per 100 grams of oats. Give your answer correct to the nearest penny. So we've got 4 lots of 750 grams. We have 3,000 grams. And it cost £9.20. So 3,000 grams for 920p. We need it to be for 100 grams. So to go from 3,000 to 100, we divide by 30. So divide by 30, and we will get 100 grams. So that's 920 divided by 30, and that is 30.666. So that's the nearest penny, 31p. Question 19. The diagram shows a solid prism. The volume of the prism is 804 centimeters cubed. Work out the value of x. So the volume of a prism is equal to the area of the cross section, so the area of the front, times how far back it goes. So times 8. So 804 is the area of our front times 8. So if we do 804 divided by 8, we get 100.5. So the area of our front shape must be equal to 100.5 centimeters squared. Let's work out the area of the front shape. Let's look at this. So split it into 2 shapes. So we've got 9 and 15. So this bit must be 6. So the area of this rectangle is 10 times 6, 60 centimeters squared. So take that one off. 100.5 take away 60 is 40.5 centimeters squared. So the area of this must be 40.5. And it is 9 times x. So 9x is 40.5. Divide, so take off the 60, and then divide by 9, and that is 4.5. So it must be 4.5 centimeters. That is our answer. Question 20. The frequency table shows the time taken for 100 people to travel to an event. Draw a frequency polygon to show this information. When we have a frequency polygon, we're plotting the midpoint against the frequency. So halfway between 0 and 10 is 5. 10 and 20, the midpoint is 15. Then we've got 25, 35, 45, and 55. So it's 5, 14. There are coordinates. 5, 14. So the time is 5. The frequency is 14. 15, 16. 25, 23. 35, 29. 45, 12. And 55, 6. So there are points, and we need to get a ruler and join them up now. So we're joining up our points with a ruler, and that is our completed frequency polygon. So just join up the points with a ruler, and we are finished. Question 21. Bradley gets on the bus on Saturday and Sunday. Probability the bus is late is 0.15. Bradley draws this probability tree diagram. The diagram is not correct. Write down 2 things that are wrong with the diagram. So the bus probability of being late is 0.15. The probability of not being late should be 1 minus 0.15, which is 0.85. So we can see for not late on Saturday should be 0.85. The probabilities have to add up to a whole number, to one whole, to 1. And the second thing, so the probability of being late is 0.15 and not late is 0.85. So we can see that on Sunday, the top one, or after being late on Saturday, the probabilities are the wrong way round. And it's good to show it on the diagram because then it's clear that we have recognized the mistakes. Question 22. Matt wants to invest £8,000 for 3 years. He can choose between Bank A and Bank B. He's getting compound interest, so 1.2% in Bank A and 2% in the first year and 1% for each extra year with Bank B. Which bank gives the most interest after 3 years? So for Bank A, he starts with £8,000. He wants to add on 1.2% per year. So 100% plus 1.2% is 101.2%. So to add on, or to get 101.2%, to add on 1.2% in one calculation, we multiply by 1.012. So that adds on 1.2%. We want to do it 3 times for 3 years. So cube it. So times 1.012 times 1.012 times 1.012. So 8,000 times 1.012 cubed, £8,291.47p. And for Bank B, we get 2% in the first year. So we can do that by multiplying by 1.02. And then for each extra year, multiply by 1.01. So I could write times 1.01 times 1.01, or I could have written, I'll do it in the calculator, times 1.01 squared. And we get 8324 and 2p. £8,324 and 2p. So which gives us more money? Which is bigger? Bank B. Question 23. The average daytime temperature for 10 days is recorded. A shop also records its ice cream sales for each of the 10 days. Scatter graph shows the information. What type of correlation do we see on the scatter graph? So as temperature increases, ice cream sales increase as well. So when they both go up together, it's called a positive correlation. On the 11th day, the temperature was 12 degrees C. Estimate the ice cream sales on this day. So to do this, we need to draw a line of best fit. So a line of best fit has to go through the points. We're trying to minimize the distance between the points and the line. So we want them to be as close as possible. And then we can use our line of best fit once we've drawn it. So 12 degrees C is here. And we read off the graph. What do we have? So I should note that this is two little boxes here are 1, so that's 11, 12. And two little boxes here are 10. So it's 110, 120, 130. So we've got £130. The shop's manager wants to use the scatter graph to predict the ice cream sales for a day with an average temperature of 2 degrees. Comment on the reliability of this prediction. So it will not be a reliable prediction. Not reliable. And the reason it's not reliable is because 2 degrees is outside the range of data. So there's no data for 2 degrees. We've got between 6.5 degrees to 21 degrees. So 2 is outside of that range, and we don't know that the relationship will stay the same outside the range. So 2 degrees C is outside the range of the data. Question 24. Find 5% of 3.8 times 10 to the power of 105. Give your answer in standard form. So we can't actually just type this into the calculator, because if we try to find 5% of 3.8 times 10 to the power of 105, the calculator won't do it. The calculator won't put a number as big as that in the calculator. So we can't have a power of 105 or 10 to the power of 105. In the calculator, it's too big. So we're going to have to do this without using the calculator. We can find 5% of 3.8 though. 5% of 3.8. So 0.05 times 3.8, or 5% times 3.8. 5% times 3.8 is 0.19. So we've got 5% of 3.8. So we have 0.19 times 10 to the power of 105. We need to give our answer in standard form, and standard form has to be a number between 1 and 10 times 10 to a power. So we're going to need this to be 1.9. So we're going to have to take one of these 10s to change it to 1.9. So it's 1.9 times 10 to the power of 104. So we've taken one of the 10s to times by 0.19. So it's 1.9 times 10 to the power of 104. Question 25. Verity buys 12 bottles of apple juice for a total cost of £15. Verity sells all 12 bottles at £1.75 for each bottle. Work out Verity's percentage profit. So 12 bottles, £1.75 each, is £21. So we can say the profit is how much profit has she made? 21 take away 15, which is £6. So the profit is £6. What about percentage profit? So the percentage, whenever we've got percentage profit or percentage change, it's the change over the original times 100. So in this case, 6 is how much it's changed by. The original was 15 times 100. So 6/15 times 100, and that is 40%. Question 26. Y squared times y to the power of a equals y to the power of 7. Find the value of a. When we multiply indices, we add the powers. So in this case, 2 plus a must equal 7. 2 plus what is 7? A must be 5. And part B, when we have a bracket, we times the powers. So 4 times b must be equal to 12, and b, therefore, must be 3. Y to the power of 4 cubed is y to the power of 4 times y to the power of 4 times y to the power of 4, which is y to the power of 12. Question 27. Change a speed of 81 kilometers per hour into meters per second. So 81 kilometers we can rewrite as 81,000 meters. So if we're going 81 kilometers per hour, we're going 81,000 meters per hour. So that's how far we can go in an hour. To change it to minutes, we divide by 60. So we can go a 60th of the distance in a minute, which is 1,350. 1,350 meters for each minute. But we want seconds, so divide by 60 again. And we get 22.5. So that's 22.5 meters per second. Question 28. The diagram shows a pentagon. A pentagon is a 5-sided shape. Work out the value of x. We need to know what the angles in a pentagon add up to. So a triangle is 180 degrees. A quadrilateral is 360. We go up by 180 every time. A pentagon is 540. So we just keep adding 180 degrees for each extra side. So 540 degrees in a pentagon. So it's 540. Take away all the angles we know, which is 90, 98, 92, and 121. And we get our answer. So 540 take away 90, 98, 92, and 121. And we get 139 degrees. Question 29. The density of orange cordial is 1.21 grams per centimeter cubed. The density of carbonated water is 1.01 grams per centimeter cubed. A drink with volume 280 centimeters cubed is made by mixing 1 part orange cordial with 7 parts carbonated water. Work out the density of the drink. So we need to know that density equals mass over volume. And we're working out density. In this case, it's going to be the total mass over the total volume. And we actually already know the total volume, which is 280. So we're going to have to work out the mass of each part and add them together to get the total mass. So let's see the volumes for each. Let's split them up. So we've got 280 in the ratio 1 to 7. That's 8 parts. So 1 to 7. So 280 divided by the 8 parts is 35 each. So we've got 35 centimeters cubed of orange. So 35 centimeters cubed of orange cordial. And 35 times 7, which is 245 centimeters cubed of water. We want to know, we've got the density of both of them now. So we already know the density. So for orange cordial, we've got 1.21 density. We've got a volume of 35. So we can find the mass, which is density times volume. If you rearrange this formula, or you might remember it as a formula triangle, if you want to find the mass, it's density times volume. So it's 1.21 times 35, and that is 42.35. 42.35 grams. That's how much the orange cordial weighs. And the water, we know, again, we know the volume, and we know the density. So the mass for the water is 1.01 times 245, which is 247.45 grams. So now we know everything we want to know. So the density is the total mass, so the two masses added together, divided by the total volume, which was 280. So we have answer plus 42.35 over 280, and we get 1.035 grams per centimeter cubed. Question 30. The diagram shows a triangle ABC inside a semicircle. Work out the perimeter of the semicircle. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So we have a right angle triangle. We know an angle in it and one of the lengths. It's a SOHCAHTOA question. So we've got the opposite, and we're going to want to work out the diameter, which is the hypotenuse opposite the right angle. So it's SO. Opposite and hypotenuse, it's not CA, well, it's not TOA. They've got the adjacent in them. That's not in this question. We want opposite and hypotenuse. So sine with the angle is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 51 is 9 over the hypotenuse. We want to work out the hypotenuse. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse times sine 51 equals 9. And remember, sine 51 is just a number. It's multiplied by h at the moment. I want h by itself. So I'm going to do 9 divided by sine 51. If you're using a formula triangle again, so sine with the angle O and h, we wanted to work out h. So cover over h, its opposite, which is 9, divided by sine with the angle, sine 51. 9 over sine 51. Type it into the calculator. 11.58. 11.58. So that is the diameter of the circle. 11.58. I'll store that in the calculator. So we want the diameter. That's this part. We also want half of the circumference. And the circumference is pi times diameter. So times pi, 36.38. But we only want half of that. So divide it by 2. So for half the circumference, 18.19. So the total perimeter is the diameter plus half the circumference, 11.58 plus 18.19. So I saved the diameter as A. So I'm doing the answer plus A. It should be about 30, 29.8. So that is my answer, 29.8 centimeters. And finally, question 31. Solve. It's a quadratic. We're going to solve it by factorising. So we're going to put it into brackets. It's double brackets. There's an x in both. And we're looking for two numbers that multiply to make 54, or negative 54, and add to make 3. So 54 can be 154. It's 2, 54 over 2 is 27. It's in the 3 times table. 54 over 3 is 18. It's not in the 4s or the 5s, and it is 6 times 9. And it's not in the 7s or the 8s, and then we're back to the 9 again. So they're all the factors. They're all the possible options. How can I get a 3? It's going to have to be the 6 and the 9. A plus 3 is going to have to be plus 9, take away 6. Or negative 6 plus 9, either way around. So what are the answers? Either the first bracket is 0, or the second bracket is 0. So what does x have to be for the first bracket to be 0? X would have to be negative 9. What does x have to be for the second bracket to be 0? X has to be 6. So x can be negative 9, or x can be 6.